All right, you need to start by finding in your notes the box that says measures of blank averages, and we're going to fill in. So again, you should be gluing in all of your notes for statistics, and you're going to fill in the blank as we go through these. So it is measures of center that we're going to be talking about today. Make sure you are filling in the blanks. I'll try to highlight the words that you need to fill in. So what we're talking about are averages today, which are considered measures of center. And there are 3 different types of measures of center or averages. Most often, when we say average, we're referring to the mean. But median and mode are also averages. So earlier, when you guys asked me what was the average test score on this test, I gave you the mean, the average test score as the mean. I could have calculated as a median or a mode, but most of the time when we say average, we're talking about mean. Okay, so the mean is the statistical center of the data, which is usually called the average. To find the mean, you are going to add all of the numbers together and divide by the number of pieces of data that you have. So again, I'm highlighting what you're filling in. You're adding all the numbers and dividing by the number of pieces of data. So basically, when I gave you the average test score, what I was doing was I added each of your scores individually. 20, 22, plus 25, plus 27, plus 27, plus 22, plus 18, plus 13, plus 2, plus whatever it is. No, I'm just making up numbers. Okay, I'd add them all up, and then I would divide by, in this class it would be 19 because there are 19 of you that I would have added scores for. Okay, in class 3 it was 23. There's 23 people, so I'd divide by 23. Around the same, 23 I think. So the mean, that's how we find the mean. Okay, the median is the physical center of the data. So in order to find the median, you're going to line up the numbers in order and cross them off high and low in pairs until you reach the middle. So for the median, I would take all of your scores and I would put them in order numerically. 8, 12, 12, 13, 15, 15, 17, 18, 18, 18, 21, 23, 23, 23, whatever, list them all in order. And those repeats get listed every time it happened. And then once you have the whole list of them in order, you're going to cross one off from each end, a low and a high, a low and a high, a low and a high, until you get to the exact middle number. That middle number is your median, another type of average. Now we're going to do examples of these next week. We're just getting them defined today. Margaret.
That seems like it only works if you have an odd number.
You're right. So it will only give us an exact middle if we have an odd number of data points. If we have an even number of data points, we can still get a median, and I'll show you next week when we look at examples how that works.
Like a 0.5?
Well, you would essentially add the 2 middle numbers and divide by 2 to find that exact midpoint of those 2 numbers.
If they're the same number,
Then it's just that number. Now, 99% of the time, your mean and your median are most likely going to be 2 totally different numbers. So what we're going to talk about and what you'll find with statistics is you can manipulate data to have it show what you want. So for example, if I was trying to show like, wow, you guys really did terrible on this test and nobody prepared, I might find the mean and the median and use whichever number is lower to give you as the average. If I was trying to show you like, you guys did really great and we had really high test scores, I might pick the one that's higher. I didn't do that, I literally gave you the mean today. I didn't find the both, okay? But you can do that anytime you're trying to show an average. My house went up for sale last week. If my realtor wanted to list the average sale price in my neighborhood, the higher the average sale price, the higher or the better it is for me because it shows people need to pay more money for my house in that neighborhood. So they could find all 3 of those, figure out what the highest average is, and advertise that as the highest or as the average price.
Did it get sold?
It's in contract. It's not officially sold yet, but yes. Charlie.
So you could just like use whatever you know. So you can pretty much manipulate anything, even
So you can't change the data, but you can decide what you're going to use to show the data the best way you want to.
But like, who created this? Are they like trying to scam people?
No, it's just different ways of finding average. Okay, so our last average is the mode, and that one's the easiest one to figure out. It's the data that appears the most often. So you're literally going to look at the data set and figure out which one shows up most often. So in this class, if I had 6 people that scored 25 out of 29, and no other score showed up that much, then that would be my mode. Whichever number shows up the most, okay? We will practice with this next week.